Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Mila in the multiverse. I was wrong yesterday. I thought this was an animated series. I was thinking of Mira, Royal Detective. Mira, they were really close whenever you start searching the M's, the M-I, and then, yeah, it was close. Anyway, Mila in the multiverse is a Brazilian based, it's in Sao Paulo series. It's completely in Portuguese, so you're not gonna, if you don't speak Portuguese, you're gonna need to turn on the subtitles. There is no overdub, so they're going with the natural actors' voices and everything else. They don't always do that. At least not all the South American based series. This is counts as a Disney Plus original. Of course, it might be made available elsewhere down in Brazil, but in this case, Disney Plus is the only place to see it here in the United States, I believe, unless Disney Channel runs it somehow. But what we have here is from 2023. It's one season. I think it's 8 episodes. Yeah, 8 episodes. And believe it or not, I watched 2 of them. Yeah. So I normally just do one, but it's tricky because it makes it ends every episode on a cliffhanger, or not even just a cliffhanger, but enough that goes that it makes it asks another question, like it's a sudden question and it cuts dead, and you're like, well, I want to know the answer to that question. What's going on with that character? And yeah, it did it after the second episode as well. It's not accidental. And now I'm like, oh, I could have gone the entire series. I could have gone through the entire thing, and yeah, but I had to stop because I can't do it all. I can't do every series, every episode of every season of every series every day, because I'd not have time for anything else. So this is it's definitely a science fiction teenage dramas fantasy story. And what we have here is a story surrounding a girl named Mila. Ludmila is her full name, and she's 16. She's just turned 16. It's her birthday, actually, when we first meet her. And her mom is kind of an eccentric genius. She's holed up in her garage tinkering. She's a little obsessive about certain things and inattentive to Mila, and Mila kind of resents her for it. It's not unusual in that household for Mila to go unnoticed, unappreciated, and she feels a little resentful to her mother. And by the way, before we even get to the Mila that we're following in this story, we get kind of an interesting peek into the multiverse. There are, there's the text that shows up. It's also in Portuguese, but you kind of get if you turn on the subtitles, you kind of get the gist of it, that it's showing what it looks like in different multiverses and what's going on. You're introduced to what we're assuming are the villains, because they're, it looks like they destroyed a galaxy in just the first few minutes, maybe a whole reality. Yeah, again, a lot of you are saying, oh, good, another multiverse story. Like, it's just, we have so many of them. We have obviously one in Marvel. We've got, What If, but also everything they're building towards in the main MCU. We got the multiverse over in DC that culminated in that last Flash film and will now be forgotten. We have multiverses in so many different things, between alternate realities and time travel and everything else that goes into it. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I know it's a lot for some. I enjoy alternate reality stories. I enjoy time travel stories. Back to the Future pretty much primed me for this. Quantum Leap pretty much primed me for this. Yeah. And at first, you don't necessarily know how the mechanic works. And in different stories, how alternate realities are presented and how our protagonist is presented changes. It's different. In this, okay, I'm going to spoil a little bit for you in this if you want to go in fresh and not know how this works, how the story mechanic works in this. The Ludmila that we know, the Mila that we know from our reality, I guess, is the one that looks pretty normal. It's a little difficult. We get to see this effect happen with her mother first, because she's the genius who's putting everything into play. She is, we don't fully understand what's happening when it happens, but when a shift happens, where this science-y thing happens, the person that was in that body moves to another reality, and someone else takes their place. So when we see Mila's mom discovering, the science-y thing happens, we don't necessarily know that this is a completely different mom from a different reality. And when suddenly the bad guys show up to hunt her down, we're acting a little bit differently than we would have expected. And I didn't realize that at first, what was going on, but she does her best to protect herself and Mila, who isn't talking to her at the moment, and it helps that Mila is cranking Queens of the Stone Age at full blast on her headphones to prevent her from hearing Mom in an action sequence fighting off guys who look like dark troopers from, Star Wars Rogue One. That's the quickest thing I could come up with off the top of my head. I'm sure you could probably think of another science fiction-y, stormtrooper-ish type of character from another film or TV series. I'm sure you could do a whole lot better. I just came off with Dark Trooper off the top of my head. Kind of have that vibe. But so they're I guess they're reality hunters, looking for the person who's responsible for all of this. Well, yeah, they don't necessarily find who they're looking for, because she's in a different reality. We don't know that necessarily. I've ruined that for you. But eventually, Mila gets her hands on the device, which looks about the size of an apple. But it's sort of almost a mechanical, octagonal Rubik's Cube looking kind of thing with all different types of surfaces, and looks kind of metallic, and yeah, it's meant to look sciencey. When Mila gets a hold of it, of course, her world gets completely shifted, and she's in a sort of a glass cage, in a sense, with reflections all over, and when it all comes smashing down, she's in another reality that looks completely different than her own. There's lots of weird hair, people wearing fanny packs, and they all live at an institute that is for alchemy. Think of a Harry Potter school that it looks like her mom either founded or just works at, because it's also happening at her own home, where Mila lives in the other reality. So wherever she shifts from, she shifts within the same space. What happens if there's like a bookcase or like a chair or something in the spot where she shifts into? Well, I don't know. She becomes part chair. I have no idea. But I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. That would be a major inconvenience if she just suddenly had chairs for legs. I don't know. Awful painful too. So what we get here is Mila trying to navigate her way, a fish out of water. It's a story of finding identity, coming of age. It's understanding who you are in relation to your parents. Can we get forgiveness? Can we get connection? These are the things that are going to be dealt with in this series, I imagine, as it goes forward. But what we do is we get a little bit of comedy in here as well. We early on in the story, in the first episode, we get to understand her relationship to her friends. Also a strange young man that he seems a little bit on the spectrum, and they just think he's strange. cute but strange. And yeah, you could figure by him walking through the shot and interacting with our main character, he's going to become important later, even in another reality. And is everything the same relationship-wise? Where's her mom? And where is everything else? How does she react to her friends, or how do her friends react to her in this other reality? And what is alchemy? What is all this stuff? And I don't understand personally the mention of pollen. She has to find her pollen. Is pollen what they're calling the little Apple device? I don't know. All I know is you can't have electronic devices in class, like your cell phone. And that pays off in another reality. And there's a chance that while we spend the second episode in this other reality, we might be hopping around to others going forward. I don't know. I don't know how long we stay in each reality. And does she have to learn everything over and over again? And as she tries to figure out what happened to her mom and why she's in this other world. She accepts the fact that she's in another universe pretty quickly, but that's more for our sake, storytelling wise. So you don't blow 3 episodes of her going, "What's going on?" Nobody wants that. It's not interesting. It's just awful traumatic. But yeah, everybody's the acting is pretty good for a TV series. It's everybody's solid. I believe Mila as she's going through these things. Her mom is appropriately erratic and seemingly she wants to do the right thing by her daughter, but she's just also distracted. There's also her friends and her principal or teachers that are reacting in different ways that are actually have a pretty good rapport with her character. So yeah, it's well acted. The effects are pretty good. It's a TV show. I don't think these are necessarily working with ILM or Weta, effects teams. It's not exactly. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know, but the digital effects that come into play, and also the set dressing for this alternate reality. It lends itself to a completely different. It feels like a different world, and to me, I love world building and I love the idea of digging into those other realities further. But the story is about Mila, so that's all we're really going to get. I don't think we're going to step outside of the Mila story and go, how did this world get this way? Why does this school exist? No. So that's on me. I can't really be disappointed by that. We're telling a story about Mila, not alternate realities, even though that's where they're set. So yeah, I think anybody, as long as you want to do a lot of reading, if you don't speak Portuguese, I think you get a kick out of this. If you can handle a reality series that involves a 16-year-old girl. Yeah. If you're not afraid of 16-year-old girls as protagonists, and you don't mind reading, even though I wasn't reading the subtitles, a lot of the emotion, intent, conflict comes through. Even if I was looking away from the screen every so often, I still understood what was going on. So that's good on them on how it all works out. It's not just people reciting the script. It's not a dead delivery at all. You know what's going through her mind and what she's feeling as she's suddenly thrown into this other world. So if you like multiverse stories, if you like teen drama, you might get a kick out of this. So it leans a little bit into some of the normal tropes that some people might find a little, iffy, and of course the villains seem pretty obvious. And the moment that you see another villain a person you assume might be a villain, yeah, you're probably right about that. You're probably right about that. But it all comes down to Mila's ingenuity in solving the problem. It's a puzzle, in a sense, solving the problem of where she is, who she is, and how can she return home and save her mother. So, yeah, if you're invested in that, I imagine there might be more seasons. Let's see. Does this tell me? No? I don't know. I'm sure this is a great use of your time. I don't know why the mobile version is so limited in telling me this information. Oh well. Yeah, give it a shot. Give it a shot if this is up your alley. Otherwise, we can see what we're watching tomorrow. You might like that more. 159. Oh, you don't have to scroll far. Oh, jeez. It's such a long title. It's going to be so hard to put on the thumbnail. I believe this is a movie. It's an animated series. We've done other things with this previously. This was, I think, either we just keep missing it or it was just added. But it looks like it's set in the part of the world in which this was created. Paris, in France. This is Miraculous World Paris, The Adventures of Shadybug and Claw Noir. Is this another alternate reality? Because it's not Cat Noir and Ladybug. It's Shadybug and Claw Noir. This is a movie, apparently, but I could be wrong. It could be a series. It could be a special. It could be a short. To me, when I looked at it at the time that I made this list up, it was listed as a movie. So I should probably keep this open because I'm not going to be able to remember the whole name of it without looking at it. We'll see. Right now. Miraculous World Paris, The Adventures of Shadybug and Claw Noir. Oh my God, I got it right. On the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.